Hello, ladies and welcome episode 4. Try that again. Got a little tongue tied there. Hello, ladies and welcome episode 418 of the DrunkNerds podcast. I'm host as always. I'm Tyler, and join me with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Oh man, I'll tell you what, this has been the worst day, but it has not been the worst day of my life.
For 3 years.
That's not at least what happened 3 years ago.
Oh my god.
Anyway, I'm doing fucking excellent, man. To give everybody a little brief explanation, Tyler and I have been watching like a couple of the YouTube videos and stuff for this one obscure CBS show called Kid Nation.
Yes.
This is a video by John Tron and stuff going in depth and stuff. And I gotta tell you, man, it's like if you all you listeners, if you have not watched this video or you have like a subtle interest in like 40 kids being tossed inside of like a Western setting to try to control their own town or something
Bonanza,
like that,
New Mexico.
New Mexico, give it a watch. It is comedy gold.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it's an old like 2006 reality TV show where they literally threw like 40 kids in literally abandoned old west town, New Mexico. 40 of them with one bathroom and basically Survivor with like literally between 8 and 14-year-old children. Uh, and it's very entertaining. Gables, you told me about this, and I did not expect it to be that good. I
Dude,
multiple times was crying during this
even
thing.
I forgot how good this video was. Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, I literally saw you broke the moment he's doing the interview with that one kid and stuff like
Jimmy.
that. He tries to hand him the freaking beans,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you see a can of beans drop and splats in
Yeah.
the face. Like, oh shit!
There's two videos, and like the second one is he interviews the youngest kid on the show that was Jimmy. He interviews him like last year about the experience, and this is like the beginning of COVID when this video came out. And he hands like the little claw thing that's like long, and he puts like, can I interest you in a can of beans? And he fucking grabs the beans and opens it and goes to hit him with the claw, and he drops the beans. I don't know why. It fucking killed me. I don't know why, but
It's
what?
not that he dropped the beans. It's that like you see the ricochet of the fucking bean juice fly up in the air, and
Fly
he
up in
just
there.
screams, "Oh shit!"
Oh my god! It got. Oh man, that a solid 5 minute tear, laughter, wheezing, everything. It was. Oh man, that got me. It's surreal. Everybody just look up JonTron Kid Nation, and there's two videos. Each one's like 20 something minutes. Just put aside 45 minutes, and you're gonna have yourself a hell of a time. You will not regret it. Uh, but my God, yeah. And that one kid, like, this is the worst day I've had in 3 years. It's like, what the fuck happened 3 years ago? And then, like, what's worse than being abandoned in the middle in New Mexico with no food or water?
And they never get a chance to figure out what it was that happened to him 3 years ago.
Yeah, it definitely like okay, are aliens exist? Who killed JFK? And what the hell happened to Jared 3 years ago? That's what I want to know. Oh God.
Oh man, but other than that, man, it's been fine. It's been one hell of a week. Work, all sorts of various crap going on around the house, and then like taking care of this little
German taco.
pooch. Yeah, this little German taco down in the corner, sleeping in his box, cleaning up after him after he has the runs. I mean, Jesus
Oh, it's the worst.
Christ.
Dog runs are the worst.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. It's like
Carpet's never the
just
same.
picture the scene. You're trying to sleep, and all of a sudden you just get the scent of like something like
Yeah.
foul. So it's like, what the?
Yeah.
Well, well, if something I've learned throughout this week is don't give your dog one too many treats.
Yeah. Yeah. Or a lot. Too many table scraps too.
Oh yeah, that too. And this little guy, what he loves to do is like my dad. He can barely walk, right? But when he does, when he walks to and from the bathroom, if my dog sees him walk to and from the bathroom, if he has food in his dish, he'll dart past him, and all of a sudden he'll try to jump right on the chair and
Mm.
stuff like that. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, it's like, hey you, and all of a sudden the dog just like, oh, I see him jump from the plate and hit the dad's trash can. It's like, boom.
I just like to imagine he's up there and he gets caught. And he's like Shiza, and he like fucking darts away. He's like fuck, I'm
That's
caught.
exactly what he does. He doesn't scream that, but it's exactly his.
You need to teach your dog like some broken German Spanish stuff here.
Jesus
This
Christ.
needs to happen.
Oh, how have you been doing, Tyler?
Doing okay, you know. Sunday night, it's always a good night to fight. I've heard. That's not true at all. No one's ever said that. Um, yeah, you know, it's been a week. It's been a long week. But doing all right. It's been a weird week. Um, I put my 2 weeks into my second job,
Oh,
so that's exciting. I told her,
yeah.
and I told my GM, and she doesn't believe me. So I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do about that. Um, I'm not even making a joke there. She literally doesn't believe me that I'm putting that I put my 2 weeks in. So that's weird. But so that's exciting. I put my 2 weeks in there. Well, I guess I know about it and you know about it, but
Yep.
my GM was first because I told him she don't know about it, but I don't know. So that's where it stopped. But anyways, I did that, and I had a couple weird experiences with work. You know, I go to you know, I deliver in my main job. I deliver like southern Iowa, a lot of small towns, a lot of trucker areas. I go to a lot of trucker gas stations to go to the bathroom and stuff. And I was using the urinal, and what I'm about to sing does not do justice to what this guy did. I don't remember the beat for sure. I can't remember how he did it, but it's a memory I'll never forget. Uh, this guy was in the stall, which is just why are you peeing in a stall when no one else is there? You know, there's plenty of urinals. But anyways, that's a whole different conversation we can get into. This guy is peeing in the handicap stall, mind you, and he is singing away. And he's not just singing a song that you would hear on the radio. He's making his own fucking tune in there. He's like, he's like peeing on the seat because it's not my home, and he like. I'm like, okay, it's like I'm like, that's a weird, like, and I mean, it was on beat, it was on cue, and I'm like, all right, he's just making his own shit up, and then he went further with it. He went further with it, Gables. He started beatboxing, beatboxing, like, and while he's peeing, and this ungodly, like, I went in there, he was peeing when I got in there. I went in and I've had to pee for an hour, so it was a long pee because I was on the interstate and wasn't able to stop. Finally stopped, got gas, ran in the bathroom, peed. I peed. He was peeing when I got in there. I peed, washed my hands, left the bathroom. He's still peeing and beatboxing. What the fuck?
Being on the seat like it's my home.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a dickish thing to even like celebrate the fact. You're like, yeah, like, you did it way better than I did, Gables. But I'm just like, why would you like? I'm peeing on the seat because it's not my home. Why? That you're a dick. Don't pee on the seat. Like, why would you celebrate that? Why would you write a song about that? I don't get it. It was super weird. And then my second job delivering pizzas, I delivered pizza to the guy. Instead of a cash tip, which is what I worked there for, he offered me a hit off his blunt.
What?
Yeah,
Hit off your
weird.
hit off his bong.
Here you go. Here's you want this? This is your tip. And I'm like, I looked at him and was like, nah, I'm good. He's like,
I'm good, man.
all right, I don't have a tip for you. I'm like,
Have
okay.
fun.
I just fucking walk. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna walk away. But it was like the very like I never smoked
What?
weed. I'm gonna tell you right now, I've never smoked weed in my entire life. But it was like the very end of a blunt, and like the end that you would smoke out of was like all like out, and I'm like that. And there was like multiple people in the garage. Like he came out of a garage and like the
Oh,
garage. I'm like, even if I
they
did
probably
smoke
shared
weed,
that blunt.
yeah, I'm like even if I did smoke weed, I don't feel like I'd want to smoke that weed. Like there's something going on there, and it was like, all right, so not the weirdest thing. There was a time that the guy offered me a line of coke once for delivering pizza.
Oh,
That was, yeah. Well,
that's weird.
there's a backstory. So the guy that I was closing, and it was like 1 in the morning. We closed at 1 at that point. It was before COVID, and the guy called like 103, which and the person that was closing answered the phone, which normally they call after closing, we just don't answer, we let it ring. But
Yeah.
I don't know if this person kept calling and they just finally called the answer to say, hey, we're closed, whatever. He's like, but so basically the guy answered, and he's like, hey, we're closed. He's like, well, I'll give you guys I don't know, 8 ball or whatever the fuck. I don't know how I understand the measurements of what coke how it comes. Um, and because he offered that guy coke, I had to go deliver that pizza for the guy. Mind you, for no money. I had to go deliver it after close to go deliver it. And then the guy went with me to deliver the pizza and ended up he offered me like I went in to deliver it. The other guy didn't, and offered me the line of coke. Didn't offer me the sack or 8 ball or tenth or what. I don't know. I don't know drugs. I don't know how it works. But anyways, he offered me the line of coke, and I'm like, no,
Eh,
I'm good. And he ended up giving me like $6. I'm like, all right, fucking, all right, cool. And it's only a few blocks away. I'm like, all right, cool. I made some money out of it. But yeah, and then the guy, I got back to the car. He's like, did you get the coke? I'm like, no, he didn't. I just told him like,
no.
no, he didn't actually offer any. I was fucking, he was pissed.
Good.
I had to get the guy. I was giving the guy a ride home anyway, so it wasn't like a big deal that the guy was in the car with me. But I'm just like that. So it's very weird. Very weird shit happens while you
Jesus
you see
Christ.
some, especially at night. But the weed thing was like 11:30 in the morning. It was like, you guys just smoke weed in the garage. All right, it was very weird, very weird, weird experience.
Dude.
So it's been an odd week of with people. So yeah, that was my week. Uh, beatboxing in the bathroom and weed as a tip. Um,
Wow.
yeah, so it's been a fun week. But guys, if you are listening to us right now, well, right now as a time recording, thank you. If you're not, we are on twitch.tv/Drunk Nerds Podcast. You can always watch us every Sunday night. We always record the show live, and I put the video version up later on YouTube, on youtube.com/Drunk Nerds. Follow, subscribe, all those places, please. Give us a big thumbs up as well. Share it. We love all those. But if you can't do all that, 99.9% of you just download it and listen to us that way. That's cool too. Also, like, thumb, subscribe, follow, share, all those things as well. Also, I believe part four of our Game of Generation podcast will be coming out on Thursday. So, and then the final part five, will be coming out next Thursday. So, broke those all up. If you want to watch we did the whole thing in one sitting, over 3 hours long. It is on our YouTube channel. You can go back and look at that. I posted it earlier this month. But yeah, so that's all out there for you guys. So you're getting, like I said, for the month of March, you're getting 2 episodes a week from us. You're getting a whole 10 episodes of podcasts for you audio listeners out there. So yeah, and then if we broke them up and they're on the individual parts are on YouTube as well. So if you want to do that as well, it's on there. But yeah, that's what going on with us here at Drunk Nerds. Just weird ass fucking week. And Jimmy the 8-year-old um, on Kid Nation. It's been fucking wild. But Gables, this is a video game podcast primarily. We're not laughing at children crying on camera and being offered cocaine.
Oh God.
So we can get out of the way real fast. I have played nothing this week. Well, I played like 3 games of Madden. We were talking before the show, and I feel like we're definitely in that glut, like that COVID glut of like
Oh yeah.
no games coming out, where it's just all the games came out in the winter, and then the games that got delayed that couldn't absolutely make it to the last year are getting pushed out to like. I mean, we're getting close. It Takes Two comes out on Friday, which is exciting,
Oh,
and
okay.
then then like there's nothing until like the end of April. So then like end of April to like early June is like an onslaught of shit. But we're kind of still in that period there, and we'll figure something out about playing. I think we're gonna probably stream that too. The It Takes Two game playthroughs.
Yeah, that does
But
sound like a good idea.
I heard this one's a little bit longer, so it's gonna take us probably multiple sit downs to do it. I heard it's like
All right.
closer to 10 hours when No Way Out was like I think it was like 5 hours. I want to say it took us two. I know we beat it twice in like 2 sittings, but
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, well we'll figure something out. But I haven't been playing anything, Gables. What have you been playing?
All right. So I did play a little bit more Assassin's Creed Origins.
Nice.
I feel like I have found my game that I want to try to dabble a little bit inside the mornings, like right before I go to work. Because what I've been finding most useful while playing Assassin's Creed Origins so far, it's like there are tasks I like to do, but essentially, before going into work, like say if I got like a half hour to spare or something like that, I go through, do a couple of scouting, like reconnaissance sort of missions or something where I'm like going through and like going to the high points, synchronizing the various points, and like maybe clear out a few enemy bases or whatsoever and do that. What I'm finding kind of hilarious is like the random animal encounters that I'm coming across. Well, here's a good example. Like, for example, like I go and I'm trying to get to this one checkpoint, right? And so I picture the scene. There's like this big old establishment, like this big old like building over there with like about 20 guards. And what's keeping me from getting there, you have this big old freaking lake, right? and I'm on the opposite side, obviously. And I try going in the water, and before I can go in, I'm like running across and stuff. I encounter three alligators, like right from the freaking thing that is still just popping out of the water and stuff. And I'm like, oh shit, oh shit. So I got to lock on to each one and stuff like that, and like they're just just trying to take their time and stuff to try to just
Yeah.
do whatever the fuck they can in order to try to take me out. And like to my credit, I had a sliver of health, but I took in all three of them.
Nice. I remember that game. They would fuck. They're like the honey badgers in Far Cry 4. They would fuck you up.
oh, oh man, they're no joke. I mean, these fucking crocodiles, man, they are really aggressive. No, they're just really aggressive, man. But they're just bastards. I mean, just pure front, man. It's like you won't even you can't even go like a couple feet away from it, and all of a sudden they just notice you up the top. They start just crawling along and stuff like that. It's like, oh man, I'm gonna get myself some lunch,
Yeah.
and like it's like here I am. I have my freaking scepter, right? I have a freaking no, it's a hammer. I got this freaking random exotic looking fucking hammer, right? And I'm trying to go through. I'm just smacking a couple of them, and I'm trying to do the freaking heavy blows and stuff so I can do more damage. It's like, oh no, 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 this is not working. They get like 3 or 4 hits before I can even do a swing, and I'm like having to dodge. And this I actually took out a crocodile in the water, which
Nice.
that was
Nice.
a stupid idea, but it was fun just to go through and do it.
All crocodiles are bastards now because Gables killed their fathers.
I did have one experience last night that was kind of hilarious. So I go into this mission, right? And this mission requirement's at level like 17, and I'm like level 14. So it's like if you're like like 3 or 4 levels below a certain mission, you'll encounter certain enemies that are like impossible to kill. Apparently, all the freaking skull, the crossbows, and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I'm thinking, like, you know what, for this, yeah, I've completed the first part of it, this mission. Let's go ahead and see if I can get to the second part of this mission, right? And so, okay, let's just do a little bit of stealth. So I avoid these guards and stuff. I managed to piss off a couple of the guards. They're chasing after me, right? These like no, these bandits. It's like a bandit like sort of like hideout, right? And so they're hidden in this canyon. I lure out a couple of them. I go forth. I climb around into terms of this entrance, right? And I drop down, not realizing that I freaking dropped down low enough, and I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna die, right? And all of a sudden, I bounce off a freaking hand, like the freaking oh god, like those little bases or something like that that have that sort of like fabric thing that like keeps them from like the
Oh,
sun or something like that.
yeah. Yeah.
I managed to drop down on the top end of this thing, and I managed to hang on without losing any freaking health. And I
Nice.
did like about freaking a 10-foot drop. I'm like, oh shit. And I managed to sneak past them, doing like a really unorthodox sort of way. But I managed to sneak past them. I'm all crouched and stuff, and all of a sudden it's like I get to this one archer. I'm like, okay, I can go through and sneak behind him. He spots me. He shoots an arrow, like a fire arrow, and it takes me out in one hit. I'm like, fuck, damn it. But no, man. The best experience I've encountered so far while playing Assassin's Creed Origins is I went up to this aforementioned like base that I got to after destroying those crocodiles. And this thing is huge. I mean, there's this one like high point that can synchronize that entire area and stuff. But this one was like one of the biggest ones I've actually come across. I think it's either in Alexandria or like some other portion of Egypt. But I managed to take out, I kid you not, like about 15, maybe 16 guards. I took out the high point ones first, like the archers, and I worked my way down until like at these freaking gladiators with their huge old freaking swords and shields and whatsoever. But what's interesting about it is like I climbed all the way to the top, right? I got that various point where you can go onto the rod and you can like synchronize and then jump down, right? I had a scare to where there was a place you could jump off before, and I pressed the wrong button, and I just see freaking like Bayek just like go and do like a back, like just die from his back, and he's like doing this. I'm like, oh no, no, no! And all of a sudden, it's like he lands into like the thing at like a level lower, not all the way down the ground, but actually like a level lower, so I could climb back up and do this and that, and synchronized my point, jumped all the way off this like almost 100-foot freaking cast this like freaking tower right into like a freaking like hay barrel or something, or a stack of hay down below. I'm like, well that's freaking cool. But the coolest moment I had, I went to Giza, right? And so when I went to Giza to do that aforementioned mission with that freaking canyon of bandits, I decided I wanted to explore around the area, and I started climbing these pyramids. I climbed this pyramid up to like the highest point for a checkpoint,
Yeah.
and I synchronized. And what I didn't realize is like there's an option. It's like, well, I could dive off the tops before,
Yeah, I
but there's
know.
an option where I can hold down the circle button, and here I
Yep.
am. I'm sliding down a pyramid. I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome. I'm
Yeah.
sliding down a pyramid, dude. It's just moments like that where the moments that I'm enjoying most so far of Assassin's Creed Origins. I mean, the story missions are okay. The side missions are actually pretty fun in regards to the mysteries you have to uncover in terms of these string of murders or something like that with mysterious circumstances, collecting certain items, doing this and doing that. I mean, yeah, it is a little bit grindy in regards to collecting certain resources, collecting certain weapons or earning certain weapons. There are some good drops of rare or like legendary weapons that you can acquire without having to use any type of helix stuff. I am not tempted at all to do any of the fucking helix stuff because, well, I don't feel like it makes any fucking sense in that regards. I'm doing enough progression as it is, completing side quests, taking chunk at a chunk, like little bite-sized sessions. Like if I wake up in the morning, I'll do like a half an hour worth of like doing some side missions or clearing out something or collecting resources. I'm perfectly happy with that. But if I
Yeah.
want to spend like an hour or two or some just doing some side missions or doing some like main story missions, I can do that too, which I find that much more approachable. It's a lot more entertaining than what I was doing like about a month ago, which was playing a lot of like Fire Pro Wrestling and doing the simulation type of stuff.
Yeah.
But the other game I had been playing, and I know this is probably going to surprise you a little bit, I decided to power on my Xbox and I decided to just check out Madden 21, right?
Oh, Game Pass. Game Pass.
Well, yeah, that's exactly the point. I mean, I wasn't going to spend actual money on the game itself,
That's
so I
smart. That's
managed to
smart.
go through and download Madden 21 because you know what? Yeah, I heard a lot of bad things about it. I was in the mood to play some virtual football, so I decided to just check it out, see what all of the various things are all about. The one thing I noticed right off the bat while I started up the game, I mean, the music was all right, but at the same time, after powering it on, like after playing Madden 21 for the past couple of days, the music really grades on you. It
Yeah.
really grinds. Yeah, after a while, I'm like, did they have any other musical choices besides like maybe a select 3 or 4 songs? I mean, I feel like I'm hearing the exact 3 or 4 songs in repeat,
Yeah. That's
especially for title music and like everything else.
yeah. That's the problem. Is like they always start with the same song at the beginning. When you hit the start button, and yeah,
Mhm.
they're on like they go in order. So yeah, if you're not in the menus very long, you're gonna hear the same handful of songs over and over again for sure.
Right, and I did notice a lot of the complaints that people had about it, in terms of like the wonky sort of physics inside the football players and stuff like that. The various like the various efforts where they didn't even like rework certain models of editing from like 2019, sort of like certain things for logos and this to like 2020.
Yeah.
I mean, that was apparent when I saw I think it was like one of the college football games I did for like the face of the franchise thing, and you just see 2019, like a reused
Oh
asset from
really?
the year
That's funny.
previously. But let's see, there were other things I noticed too. I'm trying to remember exactly what, but yeah, there was just some little odds and ends though that just didn't quite line up. I feel like playing a lot of face of the franchise. I mean, there were some things that were fine about it. Playing it I'm still playing a little bit. I'm to the point where I had my character win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I got there with that with him too. The Super Bowl part.
Yeah, I got to the Super Bowl part, and throughout my whole experience of it, it's like, okay, there were there were things about that story I
It's
didn't
bad.
make any freaking sense to
Yeah.
me. It's at best okay, but there is this one part where I literally was playing the college football championship
I knew
game.
exactly where you're
I
going with it.
scored 5 touchdowns. The two appearances that I had made that helped cement, you know, I chose Oklahoma Sooners. I chose that team and stuff like that, and I helped them win a national championship. And the coach comes to me like after after your friend and stuff like that's in the hospital with a heart condition and stuff like that, and the coach comes to your freaking apartment, and you think it's going to celebrate, and he tells you, he's like, yeah, we're going to start the other guy.
Yeah.
And I look, it's like you have two options. You can either choose another position, or you can enter early in the NFL draft.
Yeah.
And he tells you the odds on for you is like you are probably going to be like a mid third rounder, maybe like a little bit later, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. And I literally go through and I had this one was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, what? That doesn't make any sense. Inside in an actual real world situation, if a player, a quarterback, has that kind of a performance in real life for only two starts, that guy's going to be a starter.
Yeah.
Almost
Yeah.
guaranteed.
You're not gonna be benched by the guy that had that literally had a heart condition and nearly died on the field
Yep.
in the national championship game. Yeah.
Yep.
That's yeah. It's like NBA 2K, the My Superstar mode. Like those stories are terrible and the acting is awful. Like the acting is not as bad in these, but it's the story is like it does make sense. Like he nearly died on the field and had to have his heart surgery, and I had to take over in the second quarter. Same thing, fucking every series I was out there threw or ran for a touchdown, and then oh yeah, we're benching you. It's like I like if you were gonna bench me, like then have me lose, like make it so I lose or like I struggle, like build a story. Yeah, it doesn't make it like because that was a big thing they added this year with Face of the Franchise was like you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to be quarterback now. You can be they had I think running back and wide receiver and tight end. I think
Yep.
I think yeah, there was those three and then quarterback, and so they added those three. So it was like kind of a way to like get you to like yeah, you can be these other three positions if you want to, but it's like the worst, laziest way to get you to play those other positions. Like why don't you just at the beginning when I build my character, let me pick my position and then go from
Yeah,
there.
exactly the point. That
Yeah,
would have been a lot better of a choice than waiting till the tail end of the college football championship. After you win as a quarterback, all of a sudden it's like, hey, you know what? You can either continue on being a quarterback or you can just be the backup or switch to another position because your coach is literally a fucking idiot.
yeah. Like when we see this in real life, Ohio State went through this where the first string quarterback who was a Heisman Trophy candidate the year prior, he got hurt in preseason and was out for the season. And then the backup took over and led them to like I think they were like 11-1, and they went to the playoffs. And in the beginning of the first playoff game, got hurt, so the third string guy had to take over and fucking destroyed the semifinal game and the championship game. And the next year, he was the starter. Like we seen this in real life. This was a real life thing that happened. Like the next year, that guy he played two games, the two most important games of like his entire life, and destroyed the two of the three best teams in the fucking country in his first
Yeah.
two starts. Like we've seen this in real life. So yeah, it's like yeah, that whole I like they did they brought back the face of the franchise kind of stuff a while back. I think it was like 3 years ago. They did a really cool like story one. The story like it's not like top of the line. I'm not gonna sit there. It's not. I'm not gonna rave about being like a all time great story. But like for what I was expecting from a story in Madden, I can't remember. Long Yard is what it's called. Uh, it was awesome, and it was like 6 hours long, and it's fantastic. So I would say if you want something like that, go check that out. That was something I complained about when they never put it. I said they should have put this out. It was like for like $20 on the store, just that Long Yard thing, and I think people would love it because it's very easy for it's not like the gameplay you can raise difficulty if you want to, but it's really kind of it really handheld holds you about learning how to like just be play the game. Oh, it's like a
Mm-hmm.
tutorial on top of a good story, and they even like the next year they came back with another one of a sequel with the characters and dealing with the aftermath of become now they're in the pros because it ends at the draft and then the second one builds from that and it's not as good but it's still pretty good and it's just like it's crazy like oh man you guys knocked it out of the park those first 2 years and it's like now we're just kind of giving up. It's like we don't care.
Well,
And
Yeah, that's kind of like what I'm at with the whole face of the franchise sort of mode, where it's like I'm kind of struggling to actually want to continue on after winning the Super Bowl. Because here's the thing that kind of bars me the most. It's like, yeah, you know what? I won Rookie of the Year. I've pretty much won my first playoff game. I have won the Super Bowl in my rookie season.
Mm.
I'm the only things I haven't really done so far in terms of achievement stuff is make it to the Hall of Fame and like whatever type of random stuff they want to insert from anywhere
Yeah.
that until this and that, where it's like, okay, I've already done a lot of the main things that I've set up to do. If like face the franchise and stuff, it feels like I'm being like artificial padding at this point now, where it's
Yeah.
like I can understand from high school through college, the pros and stuff, the end goal should be the Super Bowl. And I feel like the thing should have ended in that regards once you make it and win the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
where it's like, why the hell would you even have the high school and the college aspects of stuff if their main thing for face of the franchise would have been like the pros in
Yeah.
that regards?
Well, in last year, they kind of did the same idea, where it's like you had a story about you getting drafted and like, um, but you went in like you were like you played high school and like you depending on what you played in high school, that was you were a 5 star, 4 star, whatever.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
go
it's
and
kind
play.
of
You
like
play
that.
a handful of games in college, and then you go in and like you're like you go to the combine and you got to like try out, and then like based on what you do in these, that's how high you get drafted. But there's a whole story aspect to it. But as soon as you get drafted, the story ends there, and then you just play your career out as just as that one player. And I actually enjoy that more. Whereas like because I hate because and like it's weird because it just ran like as soon as you get drafted, like there's no longer a story, and you're literally just playing that your character, and you're only controlling him, which I enjoy just because it gives me like a challenge of like
Yeah.
I'm only controlling the quarterback. I'm not controlling the receivers, running backs. I'm not controlling the defense. So it adds the excitement for me. This one you only play the moments. So like yeah, you win the Super Bowl in your rookie year, but you only actually play what 4 games. You play your first game, you play a
Uh
game in the
huh.
middle of the season. You play a
Uh huh.
playoff game, and then you play the
Yeah.
Super Bowl, and that's it. And then like, all
So
right,
like 4 games.
yeah, you play 4 games in your rookie year, and after that, it's just like, all right, well now you just yeah. And then what's really frustrating is like I'm on the Madden Reddit page because I like to see like the bugs and shit. Like, I can rant for an hour about the issues I have with Madden. But I mean I'm the guy that pays the $70 to get the, or at least last year before it was $70 to get it 3 days early. I'm that guy. I love Madden. I'm whatever. I'm a fanboy of it, but there's a lot of problems with it. But anyways, I'm on the Reddit page a lot and I like to just see what people are saying about it. A lot of issues. And the main issue with the Face franchise is like the whole idea of the Faces franchise is become a Hall of Famer. That's the ultimate goal. Is like
Yes.
as you do things, you hit certain milestones, you win Super Bowls, you break records, you hit the number, and now you're a Hall of Famer at the end of the career. The problem is now the problem with just in general with every team in the NFL has a salary cap, so they can only spend so much a year on their players. So like
Yeah.
say it's 200 million. The problem is this has been an issue ongoing for Madden for a while now. In franchise mode, the AI, the computer teams are terrible with cap spending and using their cap, where they just for the most for a good chunk of it, I'd say it's 80% good. We're like, all right, cool. Like you have no line, you have no offensive linemen, so they'll go in and they'll spend a shit ton of money on their linemen or whatever, getting the players they need the most. But like quarterback, is where where it's broken in franchise mode, where you can have the 99 or a high 90. You can have one of the 10 best quarterbacks in the league, and then the top free agent quarterback is an 89, and that guy they'll go after him, get him, they'll sign him, and they'll pay the $30 million a year for him, and then they
Oh
have no cap
no.
room. So then every team
Oh
in the NFL is
god.
is capped out because they all like went crazy, and like they have everybody's got 3 4 quarterbacks are paying 10 15 20 $30 million. And the problem with this is in the same issue in face of the franchise, where after your rookie contract's over and you can pick your team you want to go to. A lot of teams if no one signs you if you play. Louis being weird. You all right there, boy? He's okay. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. He's hacking a little bit. He does that. But anyways, the problem is that once you go to free agency and you can sign with any team you want to, if no team has cap room to sign you, because because you don't get to pick your how much your what your contract's worth. Because obviously
Mm-hmm.
you would just make it the minimum, so your team has more cap room to sign more players. But you can't, which I understand makes sense. But the problem is that no team has cap room, so they can't sign you. So if no team signs you, it ends. So a lot of players will play the first 4 or 5 years of their face of the franchise mode, and then every team is capped out and can't afford you, and then your face of the franchise mode ends and it's over.
What?
Yeah. Or there's times where like you had a 15-year career, you have all the records for everything, you broke every passing record, won every Super Bowl every year, never lost a game, and when your career ends, they're like, oh yeah, you're gonna always be remembered as like a mid-level pro. It's like it's completely broken the face of the franchise. So it's like even if you want to get to that ultimate goal, Gables, there's no way, there's no 100%. And like they fixed it, they fixed some of it, and it's better. Like that was an issue that was like early on in the game, and even with the PS5 and the Xbox Series X version. But yeah, it's still, I still see issues on the Reddit page of people like having the issue. Like I played a 15-year career. Like they'll show the stats. They're showing evidence, like all the pictures and shit. It's like this is my career. I won Super Bowls every year. Never lost a game. I broke every passing record known to man in this game, and I'm known as a you're gonna be a guy that's remembered, but never, you're not a Hall of Famer, or you might be like you're one of those guys you play 10 years in the league and people will know your name, but they're not gonna like consider you all time great, kind of shit. So yeah, it's fucking wild.
Wow, man. After that explanation, I don't feel like I want to continue on with that face of the
I wouldn't,
franchise
yeah,
mode
and if
now.
that's your ultimate goal, then I wouldn't. But if you're just playing to have fun, like that's what sucks because I liked last year's because it was fun. Because like after the story mode, I was actually kind of happy the story mode was over. Because then like my player got drafted by the Oakland Raiders, and it was just fun
Yeah.
because I was like playing games. And I was actually like losing games because my defense would give up 45 points, and like, and it just like it created all like actual challenges for me. Like because I play so much fucking Madden, I play on the hardest difficulty, and I still blow people out by 50 points. Like that's where I am in Madden. But I play, it's
Wow.
more of a stress release thing. But to like give myself challenges, I jump to franchise that or the face franchise mode, and they don't have that this year. Or now it's like you play the moments stuff. It's like okay, because like usually after about 7 8 months, I get bored of my franchise because it's like I've made this super fucking team, and it's like it's not even fun. I'm like it's just like I'm giving up 3 points a game and putting up 60 points a game. This is like it's not even like I'm not even enjoying this anymore. So like I'll
Well, you
go to,
know what?
but go on, yeah, go ahead.
Well, you know what, Tyler? It's like when I go through and I play Madden and stuff like that. I mean, I usually choose my team, which is the face of the franchise. Yeah, I didn't want to be randomly drafted. I just wanted to go through with my 49ers. Ended up winning the Super Bowl, which usually that's my goal anyway in terms of when I'm playing a Madden game. If
Mm,
I'm going to do a franchise or like a season mode, I usually do it until after I win a Super Bowl. For this case and scenario, the 49ers are facing the Cleveland Browns, and I blew them out 77-3.
yeah,
I'm happy.
yeah. Like if you, I don't know, like it's still a good game, and but yeah, there's a lot of issues, but yeah, I get it.
The
Like,
gameplay I feel like is good in that
mm,
regards. I mean, yeah, there are animations that are very canned. Yeah, there are
yeah,
a lot of graphical things that don't make sense. Yeah, there was an element to where every time I do like a halftime thing, you just see like a very below sort of picture. You see these dots like around a circle with the
yeah.
players, their feet, and stuff like that.
It's I'll say this there was a very noticeable improvement when the PS5 and Xbox Series X patch came out. And
Oh,
they're like
yeah.
there's been a lot of issues. Like I said, I can rant for an hour about the issues with Madden, especially this year. But I look at it more so it's like I think it's more like COVID hit them harder this year.
Yeah,
Because a lot
I
of the
get that
updates that you
impression.
would been there at launch, like the things that are typically there at launch weren't coming until October, kind of stuff. So
Wow.
it's like, but I understand like they're legally obligated to release the game before, I think it's before kickoff of the first game with their contract. So it's like they're in a rock. I mean, I'm defending the game a little bit there, but it's like they're in a rock and a hard place where it's like the game wasn't busted, but it's like there's definitely a lot of things missing and there's some issues here. But it's like, yeah, like I said, I have a lot of issues with Madden I could talk about forever, but
I'll tell you one thing that was very funny before we move on and stuff. I thought it was kind of hilarious that every time I'd score a touchdown and stuff, the person that would be holding the ball for the Robbie Gold to kick would be Jimmy Garoppolo.
oh,
I'm just
nice,
saying. I thought it was pretty fucking
yeah.
hilarious.
It's like yeah,
That they just finally just outright just replaced the start quarterback
you just sit there, Jimmy G.
with a rookie start quarterback.
Yep, yep.
Okay, well
You
that's pretty
sit there
much
with
it
your
for my
beautiful
gaming.
hair and your hot porn star wife.
Only
Fucking
to be a
asshole.
backup quarterback to a rookie.
Oh man, make $25 million a year. A piece of shit.
Dude,
I
I
love.
I really do feel like he's going to be traded off before this next season. I really
Yeah,
feel like he will be.
I think he'll just be cut, and then someone will sign him probably.
Probably the Patriots.
Yeah, probably. They'll
More
sign him.
likely the
They'll
Patriots.
get him for a
They've
million
engaged the
bucks.
Niners in trade talks even before. The Niners don't want to pursue it.
Yeah, I think it's no one wants to pay him $26 million this year.
No shit.
And they can let him get cut and pay him five.
Yep.
But anyways, we got some news here to talk about. It's actually been a decent news week, Gables. Um, I'm just gonna go through this real fast. It's kind of like I'm just gonna call it the PlayStation block, because
Got it.
a lot of news came out of PlayStation, but nothing's like. I mean, some of it's kind of bigger, but it's not like, oh my God, God of War 2 or something crazy. So I'm just gonna run through it all real quick, and then we can discuss things we want to talk about out of it. So PSVR 2, the controllers were officially revealed, so we get to see those. Um, they're basically like the is that the Vive, the one that has the Steam one. It's basically just a copy of those. No longer we're no
Yeah.
longer using the Move controllers, which is awesome. Jade Raymond, who was she was kind of made her name because she was like one of the main people behind the in Ubisoft for the Assassin's Creed game. So I actually went back and I went up and I looked up her Wikipedia page. So here's the game she's worked on since 2007. Um, Assassin's Creed, she was a producer on. Metal Gear
Mhm.
Solid 4, she was a managing director on.
Okay.
Assassin's Creed 2 and Bloodlines, she was executive producer on. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Blacklist, and Watch Dogs or Assassin's Creed Unity, Far Cry 4 were her games. And then she made a couple smaller games, and then she helped work on Star Wars Battlefront 2. But she's had a very bad string of luck lately, where she left Ubisoft and went to EA. Um, to be one of the leads. She was actually she was she was working on a Star Wars game, and then there was the Amy Henning. She was making the
Yep.
Uncharted Star Wars game. That game got
Right.
canceled, and they basically said, "All right, take what Visceral Games." That is what Amy Henning's working on. Is all right. Well, I want you to choose. Oh, Motive is who she was working for. Um, take this game and turn it into a live service game, which you have a game that's built as a single player third person action game, Uncharted game, and
Into a
convert
live
it all
service.
this years of work into a live action game or a live service game. You all right there, buddy? Choking your water?
Yeah, I'm
That's the
fine. I'm
worst.
fine.
That's the worst. But
Yeah.
so then that game got canceled because obviously she was put in a shit place, and then she left there, went to Google Stadia to be basically the head of one. They started Google Stadia started two studios. Um, God, Hannah, I think Stidwell. She ran Sony Santa Monica, the God of War people. So
Right.
after that game, she was the lead on that. After that game came out, she left and she started. She was running one studio in Google Stadia. Jade Raymond was running the other studio, and then obviously that got closed down, and then she left a while back. So she has decided to start her own studio called Haven. And I thought
Okay.
typically we don't talk about this stuff too much, but I thought this I really liked some of the stuff she said here. So come to find out, she's actually gonna she's working on a new IP with PlayStation. So it's
Okay.
kind of feels like a Konami or a Kojima type situation where, like Kojima started his own company and then went on and um, worked with made Death Stranding. But so this is the post she put here. I just kind of liked it. Kind of like it's very. I mean, she's very polite about it, but she was very open about it at the same time. It's been a strange and difficult past 12 months. Pandemic, social injustice, and the job elimination have impacted many of my closest friends, family, and coworkers. All of these factors, paired with the inability to see friends and family face to face, lulled me into a kind of self-reflective cocoon where I had to ask myself some tough questions about what really matters. I've been making games for a long time, over 25 years. I've had opportunities to lead the creation of two highly successful original IPs and build multiple teams and studios from the ground up. Some of these adventures have been more successful than I could have ever imagined, and others less so. Looking at you, Google and EA. Several people have asked me recently, after all these experiences, do you still want to be in the game industry? And the answer is always unwavering yes. The game industry is where I belong. Whether it's playing Settlers of Catan with my friends or Valheim with my team, games continue to bring me joy. There's a way to relax, connect, share, and experience with people I care about. And the act of making games is, in many ways, even more fulfilling. Games bring together experts across so many difficult or so many different creative fields, from music composers to concept artists to programmers. Yes, programmers are creative too, and into a perfectly synced orchestra that delivers new worlds for players to explore. For me, there is nothing more fulfilling or rewarding I can imagine doing. As I took stock of my career over the last few years and started to think about what to do next, I came to a very simple conclusion. I need to get back to do what I love doing most, and to do so in a way what gives our team the freedom to explore, inspire, and create. So today I'm announcing Haven, an independent studio where many of talented game developers have worked with for years and love dearly are coming together to do what we are most passionate about. It's time to focus. Sorry, it's time for us to refocus on games in a place where we can practice our crafts without any barriers or impediments. And it goes on some more stuff about it. But basically, so she started her own studio called Haven, um, and she's working on that. Like I said, it's a new IP. We don't know much about it. A couple other things real fast too. PlayStation bought Evo, and Evo is coming back. It's going to be free to join. It's going to be online this year. Last year got canceled because of the co-founder was come to find out was a giant piece of shit.
Yep.
And then there was a lot of just issues with some shitty stuff happening in the Smash community too. Um,
Oh yeah.
which I forgot all about the Smash part. I remember the co-founder was a piece of shit, but basically it sounds like what it sounds like with Evo wasn't going to continue unless someone bought it. So that's kind of what
Yeah.
happened there. And then moving on here to PlayStation, we talked about earlier in the month they announced they're bringing back the state of stay at home initiative. And they're giving us Ratchet, and we got that streaming service, the anime streaming service at the end of coming up this week, I believe. They also announced that continuing on, they're going to give us 10 more free games. This isn't behind the PS Plus paywall. This is just for everybody that owns a PS4 or PS5 console. Um, so here, starting March 25th, PlayStation and some of our favorite indie partners are collaborating to provide more free games to explore while you're staying safe and staying at home. So we're getting Abzu, which is the people that made Journey, Flower, and The Pathless. They are that's their game. I remember playing that a few years ago. It's really good. Enter the Gungan, which is a very popular indie game. We also are getting Res Infinite, which is one of maybe the most famous uh, indie games of all time. Uh, Subnautica is coming. The Witness, which obviously the guy behind I just blinked the Braid. That was his game he made a few years ago, and also some VR games are coming. Astrobot Rescue Mission, which a lot of people call that the Mario 64 of VR games. Moss, which I love. That's probably my favorite VR experience so far. Thumper, which is VR and non-VR. Paper Beast, which came out just I think earlier this year or end of last year. Then obviously, yeah, there's the Funimation stuff that's coming at the end of the year, and then on April 19th, everybody's gonna get Horizon Zero Dawn the complete edition. That'll be free on April 19th. So 10 free games we're all gonna get starting on Thursday, and then 9, and then we get the 10th Horizon next month. So a lot of pretty interesting, cool announcements I think there from PlayStation, but I just don't want to kind of put them all in one big block. Cause it's not like I think, like I said, I don't think any one thing is like huge blockbuster news, but I think combined together, it's all pretty cool stuff. What's your thoughts on that, Gables?
All right. My thoughts in general. One, I'm glad that Evo is still going on,
Yeah,
even after all the crap that whole that whole situation was in regards to the last year. I'm happy that the fighting game community is going to be continuing on strong, even if Sony does own it and it may affect what games will participate inside of Evo going forward. At least it's still continuing on.
yeah,
It's online, obviously online only type of
yeah.
stuff.
They did come
But
out and say that no, it's still platform agnostic. Nintendo Killer Instinct, Smash is all allowed to be there. Like, but I mean, really, I mean, they mentioned that PlayStation is primarily where fighting games are, and that's very true. Like Street Fighter
yep,
Five is a PlayStation exclusive game, not because PlayStation paid for that exclusivity. Nobody really plays Street Fighter on Xbox consoles, so they just put it on PC and PlayStation. So like, there's
yeah,
definitely. I mean, you look at it for the most part. yeah, every fighting game console wise, it's way more successful on PlayStation, and that's just the way it's been forever, really, outside of Smash. But go
All
on.
right, and the second thing I wanted to say is like, you know what? More free games are always good with me.
Yeah,
10 free games, some you can easily immediately like download and stuff. A lot of them are VR games. A lot of them which I probably won't be able to play only because I don't have a VR thing. Maybe if the PS5 if I ever get one and stuff, maybe that'll be something down the line if I'm bored.
yeah,
But at the same time, it's a great deal that they're going to be coming out with Horizon Zero Dawn, the complete edition, available for everyone for free on April 19th. That's a fantastic move in preparation for the second game, its sequel.
yeah,
So that is definitely a good move by Sony on that part.
yeah, I like touching on that. Like, yeah, it's great to like people that might have missed it. Like they said, over 25% of people that own a PS5 didn't own a PS4. So there's gonna be a lot of people that probably didn't play.
25%.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that own one right now. So there's probably a good chunk of people that didn't play Horizon Zero Dawn, and it's like this is smart. This is like something I always talk about with Nintendo. I'm gonna harp on Nintendo again, like I did last week when Microsoft bought Bethesda, and 2 days after they bought Bethesda, they put every Bethesda game on fucking Game Pass. It's like if those games are out there yet, and it's like you want to build some fucking like when the next big thing in that franchise comes out, fucking drop some old stuff. Like like I know like it's he's like, oh, for Zelda, like drop this or that. It's like we probably all played them, yeah, but put them out there again, build some more excitement. Like it's like, oh fuck yeah, I want to whatever. I don't know. I just love that idea of the stay at home stuff. It's awesome. I think, and I think it's like their kind of their way subtle way of like competing with Game Pass. It's like, and I mean, there's no argument where PlayStation is far superior in their first party stuff than Xbox has been in the last decade. Um,
True.
so it's like, hey, it's like here's just like one of our games we're giving away for Ratchet and this for free, and there's like 20 others that we can still drop a drop of a hat if we want to. So I think that's cool, and that's kind of maybe like their way of trying to counteract a little bit the Bethesda buzz. Um, the PSVR 2 controllers, I'm happy with that, as just the fact that um, we don't have to use the fucking wands anymore, because like, it was so frustrating. Anytime I ever like would go to use the thing, like you only have because there's so many plugins, you only had one free plugin, and you had to use 2 wands, and those
Yep.
the wands every time you needed to use them were fucking dead. It's like then you had to use a controller, or you had to wait. You had everything set up, and you go to play, and like,
Right.
oh, the fucking wands are I gotta charge them, so we gotta wait an hour, and then by the time they were charged, it's like I don't even want to play anymore, fuck it. And then they sat there for 3 months, and then like they die over time, and it's like it's just a repeating fucking thing that happens. So I'm happy with that. I think it's gonna be better for controls and everything as well. Then Jade Raymond with the announcing her own studio, which is awesome. Hopefully she can finally release the game because um, you know she's had shit luck of choosing companies to move to, and
Yeah,
then
really.
it's awesome that she's bounced on her feet. And it seems like a good chunk of people that she's worked with previously at Motive and Google Stadia are joining her. So that's awesome too. So and then just another exclusive game for PlayStation. That's those second party deals have been very important to them these last what 8-9 years now of like kind of keeping them filling in those gaps of what their first party games coming out. So that's awesome. One thing I just want moving away from the PlayStation block here. One quick thing just want to mention. I don't think there's really too much to say. Gotham Knights got delayed to 2022. Um,
That's fine.
which whatever. I mean, it's what I mean, we've waited what 8 years for another Batman game at this point. What's another year at this point? So
No
that's
shit.
happening, and yeah, I mean we're in March and we've heard no other news about it. So who knows? But another thing, quick little hitter here. Xbox. So this was rumored a couple weeks ago, and I mentioned it last week. But Xbox officially confirmed it. Xbox Indies is happening on March 26th.
Hmm.
So they came out. This was a rumor that they're gonna come in and talk about it. But from what I've on listening to reporters and stuff like that, that have a little bit of information about some of the stuff that's gonna be announced there. Um, don't expect like this is gonna be indie stuff. This is gonna be Game Pass stuff. Don't expect Halo. Don't expect fucking anything huge there, and I expect a lot of smaller stuff. So it's gonna be March 26th, 9 a.m. Pacific time, West Coast, Best Coast time. Um, They so here it says that the broadcast will go live on the Twitch gaming channel and reveal new trailers and gameplay videos for more than 25 games. But Microsoft said in their blog that there'll be more than 100 games. So there'll probably be like some sizzle reels. Um, and then here at the indie event is going to include some big names like the open world role-playing game Stalker 2 and the dinosaurs shooting simulator Second Extinction will be there. These games come from indie teams that also come with huge potential. Microsoft is promising more details on the extent, the Wild at Heart, Void Train, XO1, and more. So, not a whole lot of information what's going to be there. Um, I don't. I mean, I think it's exciting. I think this is going to be like. It sounds like this is going to be stuff that's going to like fill in those gaps. We always talk about like, like I was just mentioning with PlayStation with second party deals, they fill in those gaps, whether it's indie stuff or it's um, like or like even Nintendo, they have like these games like Hades comes out and it's exclusive to the Switch console wise. It fills in those gaps. Or
Right.
those smaller Nintendo games, they fill in gaps. And I think this is what kind of what's going to be for like Game Pass stuff. It's going to fill in the gaps. And I like this idea more of like doing an event out of it. Like I love Nindies, even though like sometimes I go there and I watch it and nothing stands out to me. Sometimes I watch it and like fucking 2-3 games come out of it. And I'm fucking excited for it. Like there's the I forgot it again. I did this like 2 weeks ago. There's the goddamn Animal Crossing like game that I played that you're on a fucking island. I'm pulling out the fucking goddamn Game of the Year
A
book
short
again.
hike.
A short hike. Thank you so much, Gables. You saved me the goddamn embarrassment of flipping through my fucking thing. But yeah, a short hike. But yeah, I never would have heard of that game. Never even looked at the game. Never would have known about the game if it wasn't for the Nindies event. Um, and it's like it kind of bummed me out when like PlayStation earlier this week did like, hey, every half an hour we're gonna reveal a new indie game on our PlayStation on our YouTube channel, like to get you excited. And they did the same thing 2 weeks ago, where like, hey, we're gonna every hour or every 15 minutes, we're gonna show off 7 VR games coming to PSVR. Kind of like, hey, PSVR is not dead. It's like that's cool and all, but I was like, I almost rather you like do like a state of play, but like just talk about it, be very open about it. This is an indies event. Don't expect God of War, don't expect this, don't expect that. This is an indies event, and like keep it like that. And like I kind of wish it would give it more publicity and those things would have stood out a little bit more and get it more eyeballs, because those state of plays, Square Enix presents, which we'll talk about here in a minute, and things like Nintendo Directs, like those get way more eyeballs than just a random uh, blog post or a YouTube drop on their channels. So I like this, and kind of the biggest thing the most realistic thing I think it was gonna come out of this is there's that Cuphead DLC they announced. I think it was E3 2019. They announced they're doing
Yeah.
this, or 2018. They announced they're gonna do this DLC, and it got delayed to next year. We haven't heard anything about it. I think there's a decent chance that it's gonna be there, and it's no longer gonna be. I can't remember what the DLC is called, but it's no longer gonna be DLC. It's gonna be Cuphead 2.
Ooh,
That's my
that's a good
that's my
guess.
running guess in theory. I don't know, Gables. What's your thoughts on this Xbox indie event?
Honestly, my expectations are low. I mean, it's very possible that we could see potentially a reveal of the next iteration of Cuphead, but at the same time, it's like I have it like a low expectation stuff for the indie
Yeah,
stuff. I mean, it's the same thing with the type of like Nintendo like indie event where it's like some things will stick, some things will not.
yeah,
So I'm keeping an open mind while watching it when it eventually is gonna be announced.
yeah. I think that's the best thing. Like like they said, there's gonna be over 100 games there. It sounds like they're probably gonna focus on 15, 20 of them. That's the case. Yeah, it's just more the idea you always hear about, like people talk about these events. It's like we're gonna show you 20, and we hope 2 or 3 stand out to you, each person. And like when these indie events come, I look forward to them, because like those like some of those indie games that we played over the last 15 years have been some of our favorite games ever. So
Nice.
I hope some cool shit comes out of it. And then last but not least, Gables, we had ourselves a Square Enix Presents. It's the first one, and they actually also announced at the end of this one that there's gonna be a summer one. So it sounds like everybody's. I'm very burpy right now. Fucking White Claws, man. Um, it sounds like everybody's going rogue again this summer, and E3 is not going to be like most people are going to do their own thing in the summer instead of joining E3. Um, but this was a 40-minute long presentation, and they announced a plethora of things. So they revealed Life is Strange True Colors, and that's coming on September 10th. They announced Life is Strange, the original Life is Strange, and Life is Strange Before the Storm are being remastered, and you could buy those.
Okay.
And there's no date on those, but they're coming into this year. Um, and then they announced Project Athia is no longer called Project Athia. It is now called Forspoken. And there's a fucking dragon. Her words, not mine. Outriders, we got a bunch of details on that. That was actually revealed earlier this week or last week that it's coming to Game Pass as well.
Hmm.
So, and there's been a demo out, and all of your like the people I've heard people have been playing it. I've heard good things about it. It's like a live service game, but I've heard good things about it, and that anything you do in the demo carries over to the main game. So that's cool. Yeah, that's coming out day one on Game Pass, but you can obviously buy it everywhere else. Balan Wonderworld, got up some gameplay for that. That's coming out, I think, this coming week actually, March 26th. Yep, that's coming out this week. But there's that been a demo out forever, and it's everybody hates it. Um, Marvel, they spent a good chunk of time talking about Marvels. They announced that finally that Black Panther, War for Wakanda is coming. That was supposed to be like I think something that was supposed to come in like October, but then Chadwick Boseman passed away, so out of respect
Yep.
they delayed it out. And then it sounds like, but there was also I was probably gonna get delayed anyways at this point the way things are going because Hawkeye came on he released on Thursday, but he was supposed to come out in October as well last year, and he just
Wow.
came Thursday. So and then the PS4 or the PS5, Xbox Series X free upgrades came out. But yeah, they announced the expansion of War of Wakanda is coming later this year. They gave a roadmap of what to expect in the next like 6 months or so. Um, and then they announced like Operation Hawkeye, a bunch of gameplay for that. They announced the which I mentioned last week. The Xbox accidentally leaked it. The Tomb Raider Definitive Survivor trilogy, which is the new trilogy of Tomb Raider, is now in a bundle. Um, I don't know what the price is. It's okay. 1 second. I'm reading right here. It's now available on PlayStation Store and Microsoft. It's 19.99, but will go up to 49.99 in 2 weeks. Okay, so that's the
Okay.
thing. Yeah. All right. Cool. But those games are I see them all the time for fucking dirt cheap. Then they had a bunch of mobile stuff. They announced like they had Just Cause Mobile, Space Invaders AR was revealed, and they did like they announced like a Hitman mobile game as well. Um, what was your thoughts on this the first ever Square Enix presents Gables?
To be perfectly honest, I didn't watch the entirety of the event. I looked at the random announcements that were like posted upon Destructoid and everything else. But interesting to see the remaster, like almost like a remaster of the first two Life is Strange like series and stuff like that. That's pretty good. Let's see. In terms of Forspoken, that trailer looked fairly interesting. I
Yeah.
mean, hell, that the gameplay, that what looks like a silky smooth action third party, like no third person sort of like action thing. It kind of reminded me of like a mix between the fast paced gameplay of like a Bayonetta or like a Devil May Cry type of sort of thing instead of an
Yeah.
exploration world, which that kind of concept, I feel like that's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
feel like the aspect about it I feel is unique enough to where you're going to keep people engrossed and wanting to explore the environments and doing all sorts of various other crap and stuff. So what I've seen of Forspoken, I mean, we saw it first revealed as Project Athia and stuff like that, and the release, the whole demo trailer, not demo, but like the whole
Gameplay.
like revealed trailer, the
Yeah.
gameplay trailer for that, and then seeing the actual official name, the protagonist, everything else is going on. It's fairly interesting from what I have seen. I wish this game released pretty soon, but yeah, it's probably going to be like another year or two.
Yeah. It said 2022 in there, but it's Square Enix. It's gonna be 2023. Oh, come on.
It's going to be
Come
early
on.
2023. I'm not going
Yeah.
to go ahead and settle for it being next year. They got to
Yeah.
put some more work.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's gonna be a PlayStation and PC exclusive. So
Mm.
I know that. Same with Final Fantasy 16. Um,
Yep.
yeah. But yeah, I thought it was okay. It sucked. I was trying to watch it while I was at work, but I'm like where I'm at work. At work, the cell phone reception is kind of shitty. So it's kind
Yeah.
of annoying. Like on my YouTube wasn't working very well. Wasn't working out there. So I had to watch it on like Twitch, and I was watching like Twitch streamers watch it, like react stuff.
Oh my god.
But like they had sent out a press release where like, all right, well you gotta like they didn't like spoil what was going on, but they said they gave them time codes, and it's like for DMCA shit they had to mute these sections from like 1610 to 1930. You had to mute these. So I was trying to watch it. This is the only way I can watch it where I was. Um,
Oh.
And it's just like they were like even like this is stupid. Like why would you have this press event like where like live reacts is a big important. Like a lot of people watch live reacts, and then put a bunch of licensed music in it, where we have to mute the thing. We can't hear what people are saying. So I watched most of it that way, and then when I got home, I rewatched the parts I cared about. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, Battle in Wonderworld was muted, so I couldn't listen to what they said. But I mean, I don't know, Gables. I just maybe that trailer could have sold me on it. I don't know. And put 60
Mhm.
bucks down. I doubt it though. But yeah, moving on here. So Life is Strange: True Colors. I really like this trailer, but it was funny when I was watching it. I'm like, okay, give me a fucking roadmap of like the episodes when they're gonna come out, all that. Because like I was going there like I'm like I fucking love Life is Strange games. Two was okay. I like two a lot, but like I said last week, I'm like the biggest complaint about that game was it took 15 fucking months to put the whole thing out. And by
Yep.
the time it got to the end, I was like, I don't remember half the shit was going on. And it's like, I don't, and like, even like when the episodes were coming out, I was like, I don't, there's no point in me playing it because it's like, I gotta wait, it's gonna be 3 months for the next episode comes out. I'll just let them stack up. But it's just, yeah, it's just the whole episodic shit. I feel like that's coming to an end because to find out it's all just out September 10th. The whole fucking thing. Kit Caboodle. September 10th, it's out. No waiting for episodes. Like, all that's great. That's awesome. I love that. Um, and I love the trailer. I just love, like, with them. It's like Haven Point, I think is the name of the town. Like, it feels like when you watch, it's like an indie movie come, like, into a video game. I love the art style. I love the characters. I love the music. And Life is Strange is fantastic. I have a fucking art book back here next to my fucking Xbox sign. You can barely see in the corner there, of like the original Life is Strange. Like that's how much I love like those characters, like Max and Chloe and all those. And it's so cool. They even have Steph, who is a character in Life is Strange Before the Storm, is a
Hmm.
character in this game. Like it takes place after Life is Strange 1. Like the whole world is all connected. Like Life is Strange 2, you go back to the name of the town, which I'm drawing a blank on right now. Arcadia Bay. I just looked at the fucking art book. Arcadia Bay. You actually go back to the town, and based off the decisions you made at the end of Life is Strange 1, what happened there, like you can actually see what happened in Life is Strange 2, like the after effects. And it's so cool to see, like that connective tissue is still going on. And like the rumor was that like the power was she can read minds. I'm like, that's interesting how that's gonna work in a video game setting. Um, but it's actually like it's cool. Like it's almost like a mood ring kind of thing where like she can like the aura that like if your mood or what's going on with you, you can like she can see by your aura and the color like the emotions you're feeling, and if it's powerful enough, it actually like affects her too. I love that. It's coming September 10th. I was kind of shocked to see it's gonna be 60 bucks now, but I'm okay with that because like Life is Strange 2 was 40 bucks. Um, but it's, like I said, it's all coming out at once. It's kind of easier pill to swallow. Where it's like, what was so frustrating about like a lot of Telltale Games or like Life is Strange 2, where like those games when you have to wait long gaps in between, the games would go, like the season pass would go on sale like 20 times while the season's not complete though. It's like, oh, I paid 20 bucks or I paid 25 bucks or I paid 40 bucks
Right.
for this thing. Like, because I understand you always pay more when shit first comes out. I understand that. That's whatever. But it's like, I pay this, the thing's not complete yet, and you're already giving away the first episode for free, or now you're putting it on sale for 10 bucks when I paid 25 for it, and you're only 3 of 5 episodes in. And it's like it's so frustrating. Like as a like because I'm a big fan, it's like I'm sitting here frustrated with you. It's like I don't know. It was a very frustrating feeling like with dealing with that. But I love the trailer I was seeing. It made me so like I went in like very down on Life is Strange, just more off the episodic stuff with Life is Strange 2. And I just didn't. I think Life is Strange 2 is okay, not great. Um, but just seeing that, like they said, coming out and it's all out once, like that totally changed my feelings on it when they announced it's all out day one. And but they are like in five. There are different episodes. I don't know how many episodes, but they're broken up in episodes, but you can play it through all at one time. And then Life is
Right.
Strange Remaster coming out. That was part of like I think you bought like the deluxe edition. It comes with it. I'm not. I don't know if I'm gonna replay Life is Strange again. As much as I love them, Life is Strange Before the Storm is so much better than that game should ever be. Uh, and that's another thing. Deck Nine is making this. This is not Don't Nod, who originally created Life is Strange 1 and 2. They're not working on this. They just did tell me why last year. I don't know what they're working on next. Um, Deck Nine, who did the prequel to Life is Strange Before the Storm, is doing this one, True Colors. So, and I think Before the Storm is arguably better than Life is Strange One. So I am all aboard with what they're doing here. But it just feels good to be excited about Life is Strange again. I haven't felt this way in a very long time, so I'm excited for that. For Project Athia, Forspoken now, um, we only see a little bit of gameplay, but definitely was blown away by that. What we saw looks gorgeous, looks stunning. Um, and I mean, obviously you take that for what it is. Probably on like the highest PC, like a $15,000 fucking PC they're playing it on. But we saw that, finally see some gameplay, a little more of the story to it. Um, Definitely look great. And that was like that cool one more thing. Outriders, whatever. I feel like the big issues was like they kind of went a little too long on stuff where it's like they're showing off a shit ton of like Marvel's Avengers. Like, here's the stuff that's coming out today. And it's like, you guys are putting out like 3 hours of content today. And you just showed 10 minutes of it on the stream. It's like, calm it down a little bit. Maybe like focus more on the roadmap and what's coming and not what's out today. Because I think it's more
Right.
important to get people excited for what's coming than what's out now. I think the people that are going to play it are already playing it. Um, the Tomb Raider Definitive Survivor thing is whatever to me. It's like those games have been on sale for so cheap 20 times before. Um,
No doubt.
I feel like, yeah, overall, I felt like it was okay. Like, they definitely spent too much time on certain things, like the mobile shit went on too long. Marvels went on too long. Um, I think, I mean, you could argue, I didn't, they showed off a lot of Life is Strange shit, which, I mean, I loved, but it's like, didn't really need all that information. I'm cool with it. Like, show me, do the trailer. I don't need the full 5 minute thing about the music and the background of it, and then tell me that the thing comes out like all at once. Like, that's great. And then the cool one more thing was Forspoken. That's awesome. And this is what I talked about last week. It's like we always go in these like crazy expectations, like with State of Plays or E3 or Nintendo Directs especially. But it's like I was talking about, like Nintendo Directs. Nintendo kind of deserves that because they lie to us all the time about what they expect at Directs. They say
Yep.
expect this, but then they give us 20 other examples of like things that go against the thing they say. Um, and I kind of like the fact that like everything they said that we're gonna get, here we got besides Forspoken, and that was like the one more thing, and it was a very small thing. And it's like if that's what we can expect in summer, like, and they just say up front, here's everything you're gonna expect, and maybe we have one or two little tiny things on top of that. I'm totally cool with that. Like I like that. I wish everybody was this front about it. It's like what I even talk like with the Xbox Indie event showcase they're doing on Friday, where it's like here's it's a bunch of indie games we're talking about. It's like, all right, cool. We know what to expect. We have that idea of what to expect. They announced soccer's gonna be there. The couple other things are gonna be there. Maybe Cuphead's gonna be there. That's but it's like anything first party will not be there. And like I love that idea of like setting standards and boundaries. But the key is they gotta stick to those standards and boundaries. Because
Right.
if they put Halo Infinite at the end of this, you just fucked everything up. You're blowing it all out of proportion. So I think that's the key. And I'm all, yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, I enjoy it. Like, it definitely it helps that Life is Strange was there. If Life is Strange wasn't there, I wouldn't give a fuck about this goddamn thing other than Forspoken. But whatever. Um, yeah. So I was overall I was pretty positive on it. I'm all for these events continuing on and these platforms. I've always talked about the even at E3. It's like we don't need the fucking giant showcase in front of us as a crowd. Like, just get rid of all the bullshit, the talking heads. Just show us the games. That's what we're here for. And like, make it 40 minutes instead of an hour and a half. Make it 40 minutes, clean cut, boom, get out. Like, I like that. So yeah, overall I think it's a thumb for the first one. It's a thumbs up. I like what they did. Um, but Gables, I think that will wrap it up for us this week.
Yep.
Kind of a short episode for us. Wow, look at that. Only like an hour and 15 minutes. Well, look at us go. Woo. We're doing pretty good. Usually we're like an hour and 40. But thank you guys so much for listening. Check us out. We'll be back next week. Check out on Thursday. We'll actually have a part 4 of the Game and Generation podcast. Until next time, I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. So until next time, I wish you guys the best of luck of securing a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. Those drops are happening. Definitely, whatever you do, keep your eyes on Wario64 on Twitter. Keep
Yeah.
your eyes peeled at whatever type of Discord server that gives you the notifications here and there. And most importantly of all, make sure that you listened to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk Nerds podcast.
And if I can, and also don't pee on seats, but also, um, don't don't pay attention to PS5s because Gables wants one. So if you can all just put your heads in the sand for a week, we really appreciate it. So Gables can get a PS5. But Gables,
Yes.
too sweet, my friend.
Too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.